Namaste, dear listeners. Welcome to the iWatch channel Astro In with Abhi, bringing in awareness by Abhi, oneness in astrology and spirituality. Now, following up from my previous podcast regarding Kaal Saap Dosha, the explanation of that, I've now decided to create a different podcast on the different types of Kaal Saap Doshas. Now, there's 12 signs, so naturally there'll be 12 different kinds of Kaal Saap Dosh. So, just to recap, you've got Rahu and Ketu. Rahu can be in any of the 12, whilst Ketu can be in the opposite. And the planets in between brings about Kaal Saap Dosha. So, there is 12 different kinds of Kaal Saap Doshas, and I'm going to try my best to explain each one based on my awareness. Now, remember this: this kind of astrology is Vedic astrology. Western astrology doesn't focus too much on these kind of things. So if you have seen a Vedic astrologer, he or she should have explained to you what kind of Kal Sapdosha you're undergoing. So the first one is the Anant Kal Sapdosha. But before I explain that, let's do a bit of a recap. So there is 12 types of Kal Sapdosha which occurs due to the specific alignment of planets in a person's birth chart, which is the Kundali. Now, each type, including the Anant, going right down to the Anant is the first, going right down to, I think it's the Sheshnag, Ka, Sap, Dosh. Um, each one of them impacts various aspects of life. You've got your health, your career, your relationships. In order to identify yourself, or in order to bring about certain remedies, you have to identify exactly what type of Khalsab dosha you're undergoing for personal development. Now, the Anand Kaal Saap Dosha, we'll start that with the start of that. We'll start of explaining the Anand Kaal Saap Dosh as the first dosha or Kaal Saap Dosha. This is a type of Kaal Saap Dosha that generally occur like when Rahu is in the first house and in the Lagna and Ketu is in the seventh. Now, this is the polar opposites, guys. First house, seventh house, first house of self, seventh house of marriage, partnerships, with the other planets in between the first and seventh house. So those with this type of dosha face delays and obstacles in achieving success, requiring extra effort and patience. Challenges will arise in various areas of life. What's required here is perseverance, consistency, leading to success. This type of Khalsap dosha requires a person to avoid having negative behaviors such as gambling, indulgence, desires, as these kind of things can worsen this type of dosha. Remember, this is where the Rahu and Ketu is in the first and seventh house, with the other planets in between. Now, let's go on to the second kind of Kalsap dosha, which is the Kulik. Kulik Kalsap dosha generally occurs when Rahu is placed in the second house and Ketu in the eighth of the Kundali, the natal chart. Now, here, this one can lead to financial losses, humiliation, debt, obstacles. Um, Yeah, if I see this in somebody's natal chart, I will advise the person stay away from any kind of partnerships. You know, you must be honest in business, especially during this type of Khalsap dosha period. The married life generally stays or remains stable, but individuals may feel aged. They might feel like they are aging very prematurely. You got to focus on your health and avoid substances like tobacco, cigarettes, to reduce the dosha's effect. Let's go on to the third kind of Kaal Saap Dosh, which is the Vasuki. I believe this is the Vasuki, the third one. Yes, this is where the Rahu is in the third house and Ketu is in the ninth house. Three aspects, the ninth house, and the planets in between. So this dosha not only affects the individual, but also impacts the family members. Siblings. Third house is always about siblings, parents, spouse. The person may, or the native may face betrayal, dishonesty from the loved ones, and family life can be marked by an unrest. So generally, yeah, I would see economic, depending where the other planets are as well, economic problems tending to escalate, further disrupting peace in the house. So you got to look at astrology as well to look at what's the person's life path number, what's the year vibration to make an accurate prediction, because this changes every year as well based on numerology. The silver lining, yeah, I'd like to explain is persistence, hard work. Um, Despite the ongoing challenges, persistent consistency, number one. All right. The fourth fourth Kaal Saap Dosh, Shankpal, Kaal Saap Dosh, fourth house, 10th house. Rahu is in the fourth house, Ketu in the 10th house of the native's Kundli. Now, we must remember the planets are in between. So, this dosha signals upcoming challenges like financial difficulties, health issues, personal turmoil. During this time, yeah, family happiness can decrease significantly, affecting relationships, love, and even aspects like child education for younger individuals. For example, let's just say you've got Rahu moving into the sign of Taurus, and you got your Ketu in the sign of Ketu, Scorpio, and here you are your Lagna is Taurus. Here you've got Rahu in the first house and Ketu in the seventh house. So already we can see currently you are going through Anand Kal Sap Dosha, marriage problems, delays in marriage or relationship issues. So this is always working in your current uh, working currents based on your birth chart. So we also look at the planets where they are now. Now, fourth house, 10th house, Rahu and Ketu is a very, I would like to classify this year bringing in issues in the career. You know, property issues, land issues. So here, the best advice I would give a person is to thoroughly check any property dealings, evaluate any transactions relating to property, home, finance. Let's move on to this fifth Kaal Saap Dosh. Padam, fifth house, 11th house. Rahu is in the fifth house, Ketu in the 11th house. Yeah, challenges, obstacles in such areas like creativity, social connections, children, delays in children, um, poor academic performance, unhealthy behaviors. Um, Parents need to be watchful during this period to help the children make the right educational choices. So here you can see if a person is going through such a transit in their life, or where you've got Rahu in the fifth and Ketu in the 11th, the parents, if you have children, it's nice to watch over the kids and see what's happening in their life, play a very pivotal role in their life. Or if you are not married with no kids, then also, yeah, it's also good to look at the creativity aspect of your life. How creative are you? What's your confidence like? You know, this can lead to poor focus in academic. But generally, when I look at fifth and 11th house, Rahu and Ketu, this is mostly with regards to children if you do have children. Other than that, I don't focus too much on it when I'm doing my predictions for my clients. Let's move on to the sixth Mahapadam, Kaal Saap Dosh. Sixth house, 12th house. Rahu in the sixth house, Ketu in the 12th house in the Kundali, and the planets are in between. This is associated with challenges, unique challenges. But here it can help. It can help the native to overcome enemies and obstacles. This is a good one. Here it can make you very wise, very strong. But here the person becomes very impulsive. A person can lose their peace. But on the positive side, I see lots of foreign travels, foreign connections, new business in foreign lands, everything related to away from the home. This is a time a person may pick up a new eating modality. This is a time a person may um, decide to hit the gym. But sometimes these decisions can come after a major setback. Maybe you went to the doctor and then you got terribly sick and they told you need to go to the gym. So because of that, you've ended up in a hospital or you very bad situation. Now you're forced to consistently work out and eat healthy food. So whilst this may be something that's kind of an issue, there's light at the end. So 6 hours, 12 hours, I really focus too much on that as well. Takshak Kal Sap Dosha, seventh and first house. Rahu in the seventh house, Ketu in the first house. And the planets, all the other planets in between them. This dosha can cause definitely delays in marriage, leading to stress, tension, not just for the individual, but also for the parents. If you're married, there'll be disturbances in the relationship, often due to challenges, mother in laws, father in laws. Sometimes it can lead to contemplation of divorce. So this is something that I really look at. First house, seventh house, seventh house, first house. Let's move on to the eighth. Karkatok, Karkotak, Kaal Saap Dosh, Karkotak, Kaal Saap Dosh. What does it mean? Eighth house, second house. Rahu in the eighth house, Ketu in the second house. Planets in between. This year, you know, can create challenges, slowing down career progress, wealth, slow down in wealth. Um, while honesty is a good trait, sometimes when you're honest, it can, cause a lot of issues because the truth always hurts. So if a person is going through this kind of transit in their life, you know, sometimes speaking the truth, you'll see that your truth is hurting a lot of people. And it's always good to speak the truth, but also remember that don't let um, don't let yourself down by not following the truth because you are scared of losing out on friends and family. So whilst you might feel, hey, strong in speaking your truth, you might feel that you need to maybe not speak the truth because it's causing people to move away from you, and you might stop that. The best thing to do during this time here is to speak the truth and allow for everything to settle in. This is how I would explain, let's say, in the most simplest way. So let's move on to the ninth. Shankachur, Kaal Saap Dosh, ninth house, third house. Rahu in the ninth house, Ketu in the third house. Planets in between. Sometimes the person might feel pain, pain and suffering within the family and home life. This is something that I don't really focus too much on. Yeah, a person might even decide to change their career. They whatever they're studying, they might feel, hey, you know what, I'm not happy in what I'm studying. I need to change my course. All of a sudden, it can happen. A person might, like, I don't want to study this anymore. I'm sick and tired of studying this. I need to change, and they might change. So it comes, when I see this here in a natal chart, I know this person here is gonna just jump ships. Could be studying IT, then he moves into maybe something along the medicine line, or maybe something in engineering. He or she just jumps ships. It's evident there. Let's move on to the 10th. Katak Kaal Saap Dosha. You've got Rahu in the 10th house and Ketu in the 4th house. This is the one where a person may become very aggressive, arrogant, proud. The ego can negatively impact both personal and professional relationships, definitely in the home and definitely in the career. And then we go on to the Vishtar Kaal Saap Dosha. Yeah, you've got Rahu sitting in the 11th house and definitely Ketu in the 5th house, and the planets in between. Uh, the difficulties a person may go through here is, they might never find joy in their own country or within the family. They'll experience property losses, but they will feel that it's always the people far away from them that is giving them luck. And such a person might eventually leave their hometown, leave their current motherland, and go abroad because they start to feel that everything far away from them is beneficial. Such people even get married. I stand to be corrected here. It all depends on the person's planets where they are, also, not just the Rahu and Ketu. But in most cases, I see a person, they might decide to marry uh, of a different race, different culture. They might go live abroad. They might like different types of foods that are not in their not in their culture. They might fall in love with foreign music, foreign languages. They might decide to get married in foreign lands also. So yeah, fifth house, 11th house, fifth house. And then we go into the 12th, Sheshnag, Kaal Saap Dosh, where you've got Rahu in the 12th house and Ketu in the 6th house. People born under this dosha, they often see their desires fulfilled. I like to explain, even where we see Rahu in the 6th house and Ketu in the 12th house. Yeah, you've got Rahu in the 12th house and Ketu in the 6th house. I like to see this, I like to describe this as a very positive thing because, yeah, I see people very successful. They receive a very prestigious place in society, even though it requires hard work. But I see the person succeeding in their life. So I don't really go too much Because I don't pick up anything negative here. So, in conclusion, look, understanding the different types of Kaal Saap dosha is very important to anybody interested in Vedic astrology, as it presents their own sets of challenges and influences on a person's life. These doshas caused by the positioning of Rahu and Ketu in one's birth chart can definitely impact areas such as the list that I've given you: career, health, relationships, and spiritual well-being. No, so there's always a deeper insight to it. I've just given a very brief overview on it, but when I'm doing the actual charts and my explanations, I explain it from a very deep point so that you do understand it and I give you the remedies for it. So thank you very much for listening to me. I hope you can finally understand what is the different types of Khalsa doshas. Jai Shri Ram, Om Namah Shivaya, Jai Shri Krishna, Hare Bol.